With Pakistan now deeply involved alongside Saudi Arabia, does Islamabad have any room to step back if Iran strikes again? Do the presence of nearly 13,000 Pakistani troops in Riyadh now mean a wider war becomes inevitable if Saudi Arabia is targeted? Could Pakistan's move to support Saudi Arabia now backfire, with its troops and aircraft turning into direct targets for Tehran? And does this place Islamabad on Iran's potential strike radar, especially if Washington fails to secure any understanding with Mojtaba Khamenei? With Pakistan unable to broker an agreement between the United States and Iran, Islamabad may now be preparing for a more active role in the evolving conflict. Pakistan is reportedly deploying military personnel to Saudi Arabia under the framework of an existing mutual defense arrangement between the two countries. On April 11, Saudi Arabia officially confirmed the arrival of a Pakistani military contingent in the capital Riyadh. Reports indicate that approximately 13,000 Pakistani troops, along with a contingent of 10 to 18 aircraft, have reached Saudi territory. Saudi officials stated that the deployment is intended to support joint military coordination and enhance operational preparedness. The Pakistani contingent has reportedly been stationed at King Abdulaziz Air Base, located in the eastern sector of Riyadh. The Saudi Ministry of Defense said, and I quote, "The Pakistani force consists of fighter and support aircraft belonging to the Pakistani Air Force, with the aim of enhancing joint military coordination, raising the level of operational readiness between the armed forces of the two countries, and supporting security and stability at both regional and international levels." End quote. Saudi Arabia is believed to have activated its defense arrangement with Pakistan following increased pressure linked to Iran's retaliatory actions. Under this agreement, any attack on one country is considered an attack on the other, reinforcing their security cooperation. However, separate reports suggest that Pakistani troops and aircraft may have already been deployed to Saudi Arabia as early as March 2026. A Pakistani official also indicated that missile defense systems were supplied to Saudi Arabia during that period. These interceptors were reportedly used to counter threats linked to Iran's retaliation targeting U.S. positions in the Gulf region. Riyadh has confirmed that Pakistan Air Force jets touched down at King Abdulaziz Air Base on April 11 under planned deployment. The package includes frontline fighter aircraft backed by support and logistics planes, according to Saudi defense officials. Saudi Arabia says the goal is to enhance joint military cooperation and boost the two allies' readiness in the current crisis. Officials also frame the move as a way to support security and stability, not just for the kingdom, but for the wider region and global energy markets. The arrival of these jets follows weeks of Iranian missile and drone attacks that have struck inside Saudi territory. IRGC-linked strikes have hit key energy infrastructure and killed at least one Saudi national in the kingdom's eastern province. Even King Abdulaziz Air Base itself has come under drone and missile fire during the current Iran conflict, underscoring its vulnerability. Pakistan's military deployment follows the collapse of high-level talks aimed at securing a U.S.-Iran agreement in Islamabad. On April 11, the Pakistani capital hosted negotiations intended to advance a potential peace arrangement between the two sides. However, the discussions ended without progress, with U.S. Vice President Vance stating that Iran declined to adjust its position. Iran, for its part, maintained that it remains committed to a ceasefire despite the outcome of the talks in Islamabad.
"We reached understandings on a number of issues. That's the reality. However, regarding 2 or 3 important issues, the views were distant and ultimately did not lead to an agreement. This is the latest status that I can announce to you. Diplomacy never ends. Diplomacy is always a tool for securing and safeguarding national interests, and diplomats must do their duty in all circumstances, whether in wartime or peace. This round of negotiations took place after 40-something days, 40 days of imposed war, and a few days after the ceasefire, in an atmosphere filled not with mistrust but suspicion and ill will. In any case, the American side has committed a military transgression against the Islamic Republic of Iran, along with the Zionist regime, for the second time in 9 months. Therefore, naturally from the beginning, one should not have expected that we could reach an agreement in a single session. I don't think anyone had such an expectation, despite the fact that I said this meeting was the longest we've had in the past year. Some new topics were added to the negotiation agenda this time, such as the Strait of Hormuz or the Gulf region. These have their own conditions, characteristics, and necessities. But I think that in any case, we must, as diplomats and as a diplomatic apparatus, continue to pursue our national interests under all circumstances, utilizing our various tools to safeguard the security, rights, and interests of the people of Iran. Contacts and consultations between the Islamic Republic of Iran, Pakistan, and other friends in the region will continue. Diplomacy, alongside other components of the government, alongside our good people, and alongside the defenders of the nation, are ready for all kinds of cooperation and sacrifice to safeguard the interests and national security of the country.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.